And a warm welcome to you on a Monday, the 5th of January. It is a morning, yes, it is very cold, and we're going to deal with this. And that's going on the boat, but there's a couple of jobs we need to do first, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So, welcome to Boat Extras. I think this is episode 22. And well, we'll crack on and we'll try this time to get that table. Gives me horrors when I look at that. We'll try and get that table up there and we'll have a look, see how we're going to fix it. So I've already been aboard and just cleared the decks and put a few tools up there. I'm just wandering around the back of here because there is a job we have to do first in order to take an accurate measurement from the floor upwards to see where we're going to put something to rest the table on. We have to cover the floor in something, and I'm debating, in fact we discussed it last time, John and myself, that we should, it would be easier to ply the floor in an oak ply, basically. So that's what we're going to do. I'll show you when we get aboard. I'm just while I'm with me being a man, I can't do two jobs at once, so I can't talk and look at the same time because I'll get sidetracked. So yeah, I'm just looking to see whether I have got any ply that would be suitable for the job, and I don't seem to have any other than I can't believe I've got to take all that stuff out there again. God. Yes, unless I put oh no, you see I can't, because I'd have to put something on top of that as well. So no, I have to decide exactly what we're going to put on the floor. It has to be oak ply because I've got nothing else really that would be suitable. So I'm going to have to pull out an 8x4 sheet of ply from out in there, which is one of the last ones I have, and cut a piece sort of that big. So that's what we're going to do. But before we do that, I'll nip up here with you and show you what we're going to do. So just stay tuned a minute and I will go aboard. Okay, so welcome aboard. So here we go. We'll have to ignore the that flashing. That's the fluorescent up there. It's obviously on its way out. As you can see, I have marked out the floor and a straight edge there and a straight edge there, and that tape is roughly where the table is going to sit. It's not exact because I need to put something on the floor, so we can't take an accurate measurement, but I've put the tape in such a position so once this is in the new floor, then I can then take the size and I can draw a pencil line on that tape. So that's the theory about having the tape there, and it also gives me a visual of where things are going to be. And I've measured that from that point to that point the table will drop into there, and we obviously have to anchor these as well because we don't want them moving unnecessarily, because we'd have to keep shuffling things around. So the reason for a decent size thickness of ply going there is because it acts as a natural channel for that to slide into place, as with that. Now you notice that there's a gap there. I decided that the gap's better at this side than that side, because I can put a fillet down the at the bottom, so then that fits into place. So then you're not messing around trying to get the gap right for when you go to bed at night, if you know what I mean. So that's the reason why I need to make an accurate sizing on the floor, so when we cut the ply out, which is the next job to do, we can place that there so it's exactly perfect, and then we've got a starting point where we can butt that up, drop the table in place at a moment's notice without thinking about it. So that's the job we've got to do. So I'll go back down, and I shall puff and pull that piece of ply out, and I will cut it down, and I will see you back up here with that in place with a bit of luck. So get yourself a cup of tea or coffee and enjoy the episode. That's better. Right, I had the camera the wrong way around. So there you go, I've got some ply that's now on the floor, and I'm hoping that that is enough of a height to prevent these from moving once this is fully fitted. So now what we can do is we can now measure from there up to see where 67 centimetres comes, because that is basically what the size required in height is, and it should roughly be around the middle of that tape, because I put a pencil line there, so it should be sort of in the middle of there. So that will give me a guide. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a pilot hole in the through the tape, because I want to see what the depth is between the side of the boat and the gap and the ply itself, and that will determine what type of fitment I use in order to anchor it to that ply. So that's the next job. So I shall do that next, and stay tuned. Right, I've thought of an idea of rigging a temporary thing up to have a look to see what it looks like, what position it would be in, and aesthetically whether it's in the right, the drop leg is going to be in the right place, because it has to be. It does splay out slightly, so it gives it rigidity, as I've noticed on it, and I'll show you that in a second. So if I place you sort of like there on an angle, right, and I've also cut some temporary pieces to the size that I know, which is 67. They're the cut edges and those are the square edges. So I thought if I could place one of those sort of around there, and that one like that, there, that would give the table some support. It's amazing how it looks like it's wonky, but it isn't. I think it's absolutely spot on, that. Yeah, I don't know why the tape is in the wrong place, but we can soon alter that. But you can see that's exactly right. So we know that the two stanchions are good to go, so providing they don't fall over, we'll be all right. So basically how I got the size was I measured from that point to that point. Obviously there's a stud there that we don't add to the size because it's going to be sunk into the ply. So we just let that leg drop. Line it up with the tape, and then pull the leg out, because it has to come out, because this is on an angle and it's designed to be splayed out, so then it gives it that rigidity. I mean, we've still got to connect it somehow to the back and whatever we put across there. But that's basically what the table will look like. And I think it's on the edge there, that's okay. And it's on the edge there. So that really is centre. That's good. And I think that should be. That's pretty level. So we know we're on the right track with that now. Got the bubble bang smack in the middle. So I think that is really where it needs to be. And I don't know whether you can see with the, yes you can actually, if I just shorten that. Can you see how the legs splays out slightly? That's because whoever, factory wise, angled that joint, so it's forcing it that way, and it's holding, well, it will hold once it's done. So far we're on the right track, we're looking good, we're looking good. So if I actually push, so actually if I make an indentation in that ply, that'll give me exactly the mark I need to make a hole in the ply, won't it? Because I know I'm in the right position. Wonder if that's made a divot. Might use a pencil as well. Okay, so it needs to be just beyond that there. So if I just there. Right, I think I'm happy with that, because that's exactly how it needs to be. I mean, does that look out of place with those two stanchions going down? Forget that they're white, because we can make them into oak. Does that look silly? I mean, it seems logical, because you've got the strength in it. And does it interfere when you put the table down? That's the thing. So you would basically lift the table off, kick that down, forward, slide that into place, and that goes level with that there. Actually, you know, because 99.9% of the time the table's always going to be up. The only time it's not going to be up is when John's sleeping on it. So does it matter that they are there if they were in oak and edged properly? I don't think they would. And what it would mean is that I could actually stick them to the oak. But then I have a method, I've got this idea of anchoring that to that, and I think anybody else, if they pull it, they'll just pull the whole thing off. I don't know. But we're getting there. We're getting there. so do that like so, and then you move that into the hole like so. Yeah, pretty quick. And there we are. There's not much room, is there? You lose quite a bit of the table there. I mean, the table must have gone there because the leg never ever fell off the edge of that, so the table must have always been there. But it's a bit bijou, isn't it? Well, I suppose it is what it is, isn't it? That's how it was. I can't remember because it's so long ago. I can't remember. But it must have been. I've got pictures of the boat with it like that. It must be like that. I suppose you could sit here and eat, but it's very bijou. I suppose it's a small narrow boat, isn't it, really? Right, okay, there we go. So I think the next stage is for me to put a hole in the ply and decide what I'm going to do there. I'm going to put a pilot hole I'm definitely going to put a pilot hole in because I want to see the depth, because I've bought some butterfly clips that I was thinking that could be pushed through. It could splay open, and then whatever the thickness of the wood is, I could then screw it and then it would tighten up against the ply. And I thought that that might be enough. Therefore, I wouldn't need stanchions going down like that. So I wanted to put a pilot hole in, and I don't think that would be a silly idea because it would be covered by the thickness of the ply anyway. The thickness of this table. So actually, if I put no, I won't do that. If I put a blue marker across the table height and remove the other one, because I know this is level, I know that just below that is right. Onward. Get back. Stay there. Right. I've talked enough. I'll crack on and we'll see what I do. Okay, so I have, in the meantime of speaking to you last, I have found an existing piece of wood, an old piece of wood that is 70s wood, which is what I want. Okay, it was full of holes, but I've plugged them, and I've also routed the edges as well, as you can see. So I've filled in the holes by using the same piece of wood. I've just made some dowels, because that was basically on the end of there, and I've sanded that down because that is going to be the first piece that goes on to the wall on the boat, and that is going to get fixed to the wall like so. And the ply that I used on the boat is, fortunately, I must have had the foresight to used the thicker of the plies because it's extremely thick. Now what that's given me is the chance to get a decent anchorage to that ply. And I had a word with a friend of mine who is a joiner, and he said if you get this particular type of glue together with open grain screws, so it's got, you know, the corkscrew effect, really really rugged ones that bite, he says you'll never pull that off. So I'm going to give that a whirl, and if it fails, it fails. Doesn't matter, because I can do something else. I have a plan B. But that's the sort of thickness of the ply that I'm dealing with, that thickness. So I think that together with if I trace where I gunned the pins to hold that in position, because originally I've looked back in time and found that I used a lot of wood slat as anchorage, and I remember I drew the lines on the ply when I pinned it, so I know where these are. So I've got that also as a backup as well, so I hopefully will be able to gun into screw it into those as well. So that's where we're up to. My cunning plan I will show you after I've done it. I'm going to do it down here. I can't put it on, I can't actually fix this on today because the glue that I have ordered won't be here till tomorrow, but I will show you the method of holding the table in position so it doesn't pull away from the wall. So I will show you that once I have done it. So stay tuned. I'll put you on your perch, and I'll see you shortly. Okay, so I'll give you an update now on what I am doing. So basically that's going to get screwed to the wall like so, and I'm going to make a dovetail wedge, and basically I'm going to cut out that by the thickness, which is that, and that is going to be attached to the table on the underneath. So when you line your table up, that will drop in to there. Thus, because it's a dovetail, it won't pull this way, because the tail, that side and that side, won't allow it to. So then you've eliminated it coming this way, which means that it takes the pressure off the leg as well. And also it can't go that way, and it can't go that way either. It can't go that way. The only way it can go is up, which is obviously you've got to have an exit, haven't you? So, and I think the weight of the table and everything, and the fact that it's going down to that level, will be absolutely fine. So that is the method in my madness. So I've basically got to wait for these to dry, because unfortunately those things that I've put in the way there, that I've glued in, those dowels, are right on the line of where I need to cut across. So all I can do at this moment is clean this wood up, apart from I can't obviously, well I can actually, I can redraw the line. Like so. But you can see what I mean, the way it's going to fit. It's going to basically be like that, and that will be as one with that, but down to that level, and therefore won't come out. So I need to clean that up, and I need to clean this surface up and wait for this to dry. So I shall crack on. Okie dokie. Well, finally managed to get that done. Filed it and everything, and it now fits exactly how we want it to fit. So I've just propped this up against that, but imagine that's bolted to the wall, then that to the table, and then that just fits, plunks into there, and then that's it. It fits. Well, it fits flush, I can assure you, but that's how it fits, and thus doesn't come forward. And at the back, where it won't be seen because it'll be bolted to wherever, it's a nice snug fit. So there we have it. That is a done piece. He says, yes. Yeah, that's right. Or is it that way? Can't remember now. Oh, no, it's that way. Ah. I was going to say, because that's the horrible side. That's the side that goes up against the table. That's it. That's it, because when it's up and propped up, that's the side you'll see. Yes, I'm with it now. Right, so I think I'm going to call that a day, to be honest. I've gone and cut myself as usual, well, stabbed myself, and when the glue arrives tomorrow, we'll be able to put this up. In fact, it holds itself like that. Perfect. Very happy with that, and hopefully that'll do exactly what we want it to do. Yeah, perfect. Right, okay, I've earned myself a cup of tea. So, until tomorrow, have a good evening, and I will see you then. Bye. And a good morning to you. It is 7th of Jan, which is a Wednesday. So now that we've got that sanded down and looking half pretty, I have drilled what I want, which is some pilot holes. I've got 2 on this side, I've got 1 in the centre, and I've got 2 on this side. Now I'm going to take this up and I'm going to check the depth of each of the screws to make sure that I get the right ones, because what I would like to do is I would like to countersink these down so I can put some of those bungs on them. But in doing so, obviously the further I go down, the more really I want to make just caps just to cover it, really, because I don't want to go too far, because obviously it's going to hit the side of the boat. So that's the procedure. I'm going to take this up there now, and we'll have a look to see which screws are going to be suitable. So we'll see you aboard. Okay, welcome aboard. So I've put 1 screw in the centre at the moment. This is purely a dry fit because we've still got to do some countersinking as well. So all I've got to do now is, and I'm not using a drill because I want to keep the threads that I place in the ply intact, because they are crucial. Even though the glue that I have now got is exceptionally good, I want to try and keep the threads fresh. So I've got the centre one in, which is fine, but I now just need to level it up and then hand screw these into position. So I'm going to get these started. because the thing will start moving around as well. I need another screw actually, just to see the depth. There we go. Still a way off yet. Right, it's just grabbing now. So we need to get this spot on. And by putting the one in the middle, it gives you, there we go. Okay, let's put you on that side. Double check. Happy with that. I mean, I could be going belt and braces with this, to be perfectly honest, because, as I said to you, the ply thickness is, well, it's at least 6mm thick, if not more. I mean, that is pretty solid, even with just the 3 that are in there. But I just want to make an indentation in them all, and then the pressure's off then. Because I know where the screw heads are. For a nasty feeling, I just thought I'd put that the wrong way around, but I haven't. Final one. That looks smaller. Not having that one. Got all the right sizes, yeah. No, that's smaller, that one. Right, check, make sure we're good at this stage. Lines up with there. Let's come this way a bit. So what that enables us to do now is to get the segment, which I've obviously left down there, haven't I? Of course I have. Get the segment that goes underneath the table, and we can now line that up properly and centrally, and then that will be absolutely spot on. And of course that is level, he says. Should be. Maybe the table's slightly wonky. Should be like that really. It's about 2 mil, so maybe this table's slightly warped. But hey, we're not far off, are we? Probably the only thing that's near enough straight on the bow. Anyway, there we go. So far so good. We'll move on to the next bit, which I'll go down there and go and get the I'll go and get this other part of the jigsaw, and then we can move on to the next bit. So bear with me. Right, so I moved this box out of the way because I want to go underneath. I've placed that section in its rightful place. I'll move you to there, possibly there, over this side, because I need to get under there myself. There we go. There. Yeah, so as you can see, it's there. So what I need to do now is, I know where the position of it's got to be, so I'm going to draw a line like so. I'm going to draw that one anyway. I need to get it closer. Well, it's got to be flush with the end of this table anyway, so I know where that's got to be, but that's giving me a guide. Well, that's giving me the position of where it has to be screwed to. And if I could probably use that hole to screw it into position, possibly. So I'll put a marker where I'll screw it into position. So I can put a screw anywhere around these areas here. I only need 2, I think, anyway, because it's going to get glued up there anyway. So we're getting there. I know it looks like a faff and what have you, but it's all trial and error. I can't say that I've ever done this before, so it's just a case of, I think it's the worry of making a mistake and having all the time to rectify it. And trust me, as you already know, I've already done one this week. I've no plan on doing any more. So that can come off there. Yes, before I make any more mistakes, and I will, I'm sure, I just want to have a breather from them. You can see it's not going anywhere, that table, once that's fitted to it. It's better if you can see it from there. You can see it working perfectly as it drops in. So there we are. So I'll take that off. I can countersink these. I can screw that, and then I can colour it and I can glue it. Oh yes, glue. Where's the glue? I'll show you the glue. Try not to damage that ply fill. So this is the glue that I've been recommended. It's Soma Fix, and it's unfortunately it's come off, but it's extremely tough stuff, and it's 602 adhesive. It's not the cheapest of adhesives, but there you go. I can get that to focus, maybe, so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. You know what? I think it's a case of anyway, I hope you got it. So that's the adhesive we're going to use to put that into place. So there we go. I shall go down there, do a bit of work on that, and I will see you aboard. Right, so that is screwed and glued into place, and this is about to get screwed and glued into place with this. Now, I took the liberty of screwing these all the way down and checked against it to make sure it doesn't come through. So we now know, because of the pencil lines, where we've got to be. So we can put some of this glue like so. Slide this into place, squidge it around, check our marks, make sure that that is flush with there. That'll do. And put that on a minimum torque. Make sure that that stays. Right. Moment of truth. Well, no, actually not the moment of truth, because I need to let that glue go off. It's just seeping across there, and I don't want it grabbing. But you can see how it's looking now, and that's all in keeping. We can stain all that up afterwards, because we need to trim. We'll need to trim. It turns to foam. It's like a foam. Look. So interesting. I'm really pleased with that idea, you know, because it looks in keeping with everything. And then once it's got its little grommets in place, in fact that's what I'll do now. I'll glue those into position, but I'll use PVA glue because I don't want foam bulging out all over the place. So we put some of these grommets that I've done in there. It'll look semi-professional. Right, so that's what I'll do. We'll glue them into place, and then well, we'll just move on to the next job. Bye for now. And a warm welcome back to you guys. It is Saturday the 10th. I have missed a few days out, I have to admit. But it's purely because life sometimes gets in the way. Normal life, that is. And stuff needed to be done. So that's what I've been doing. Now, obviously we left it whereby we use this new glue and we put the dowels in those screw holes, which is there, as you can see. So that's the first job. We need to tidy up this area. We need to chop them off, those nibs, and sand them back, sand everything back, and then stain that up. And same with this. This glue does actually come out, it's like a foam, it's like an expanding foam really, to be honest. But I have found that if you use a knife and you make an incision down there, it just pulls off, so it's not too bad. As you can see with this, I've already had a little go because it looked a bit unsightly. So yes, that's the situation as it is. So that's my first job, to sort that out. So I'm going to chop those nibs off and do a bit of sanding and a bit of prepping and finally get this done. The only thing that I'm still holding reservation about is the final fitting on the floor here, where the hole's going to be for the centerpiece to come folding down. I've got some ideas for that, and the reason why I'm hesitant, I have allowed, I suppose I'll discuss it with you when I finish sanding it and plonking it into position. It might be easier if I do that. So I'll crack on with some work and I'll discuss that with you when I'm at that stage. Okay? Right. Oh, I've got some new clothes as well for work. Just for work. They're not a fashion statement by any means, but things were falling off me, so I decided, I need some new jeans. Oh, by Amazon. Essentials. Do you know what? I got 2 pairs of jeans, right? Yes, they're not fashion statements, but you know what? I'm in a boat, in a warehouse, on my own. Nobody's going to see them apart from me and the odd one of you. So I got this, a new one, because this fits me better, and some smaller jeans because I need them. And I thought, yeah, that's good. So we're on the home stretch of this boat, so we need a fresh attire. So I will see you later. Oh, go and get yourself a cup of tea or a coffee, and I'll be back because it's freezing in here and I need to keep moving because I've even put my t-shirt on. Bye for now. Okay, so we're all sanded and we're all stained up and we're looking fairly pretty. That's had a touch up. That's also been sanded down there. That's all nicely done. And that's just had a little bit of a freshen up. We've still got the other opposite side, one of those to go, whoops-a-daisy, on there. So that needs sorting. So what I propose to do now is hoover up this area, and over there, as you can see on the distance, there is a roll of sound deadening and also insulation, which is the same stuff as I've used on top of here. That is all going along there, like so, because that will help to, well, quieten everything down, but also insulate from the cold coming up as well. So because there's obviously no insulation underneath these areas here, so I think that will help, because eventually this area that area will all be insulated with this stuff, so everything coming up will stay hopefully down. So that's the next job. I'm going to do that next. Hoover up and put some insulation down. See you in a minute. I just thought I'd show you this. You know, when you're, let's say for example, I mean, as you can see, I've just put the this flooring down. Now imagine you're putting, say, vinyl down or anything like that. Vinyl is very unforgiving because, especially if you're not used to fitting vinyl, because it's not like carpet where you can make an incision across there, and if you're short you can use a carpet stretcher to stretch it up over the gripper and into the gap that you've left in order to tuck it in. With vinyl, of course, or anything that's hard material and flexible, when you make an incision, that incision is there for everybody to see. And more often than not, people tend to, I mean, I'm not talking about actual professionals, but if you're anybody that has a knife in their hand, you can have a tendency to do scooping, and where you think you've gone in the right place, you end up doing that and taking far too much off. So how I learnt in my days before I was able to fit flooring was I used to watch the carpet fitters or vinyl fitters or what, etc., and then if there was any offcuts left, I used to take them away and I used to put them up against a skirting board or anything at the shop, and I used to practice cutting in. And how I found it easy to do was it's called darting, and that's basically you find a rough idea where it goes, and instead of going straight away like that, you basically go down the material till you can't go any further. And if you keep darting, which is pushing your blade down like that to the floor as many times as you see fit, the more you do actually, the better it is, because what happens is you end up with a natural line where your blade stopped because you've hit the floor. So then that gives you another point across there where to go with your blade. So it does give you that. I mean, we're talking of underlay here. It doesn't necessarily, it's not a case of it being with this material, but you know, I'm not going to be putting any vinyl in this boat, but I just thought it would be, you know, for a future project, whether it's in a home or whatever, this is a great way of fitting vinyl or anything, carpet or anything like that. So now that you've got that line and you've broken in the materials back so it doesn't want to keep curling like that, you've got a nice line there. So then basically, as we talked about over there with that one, you get it in between your 90 degrees and you literally just go nice and slow like that, remove that, and there you have a really nice edge. So that's how I learnt how to fit vinyls, etc. Now with carpet you could do very similar way, but what you would do is you would curl the edge, you would break the back of the carpet first, because you've got to tuck in over gripper rod. So if I just cut that, just for example, I just cut that bit short, a bit too big. Imagine that's a carpet. So there's your carpet and you've got that. You've got a gripper rod there. You break its back and you curl it over like that. Now the carpet back, generally we want to tuck in. So when you've made your incision, you bend your carpet over and you get your blunt screwdriver and you scribe in, and then you get a scrolled edge. And that's how carpet fitters do it. They do that and then you get a nice rolled edge. and you use your carpet stretcher to tuck in over your pins, and always have your pins facing the wall, not this way, because the grip rod is designed to hold onto your carpet once you've stretched it over the top of the gripper rod and tucked it in. So I just thought I'd show you that for future reference if you decide to do your own little DIY thing. You know, you got a box room or whatever. That's how you would cut. So I'll crack on doing what I was going to do, and that's lesson over for now. Right, okay, so I think that's job done. Well, when I say job done, it is job done, apart from the fact that you can probably see that the table slopes down that way, and there is a reason for that. Oh, and there's also that little bit there that we've got to stick on yet, but there is a reason for that, because I haven't decided on what flooring is going down there yet. Yes, there's a piece of oak and it's all stained up nicely now, and it does look nice actually, in all fairness, but nevertheless it is a thin piece. It's a thin layer on the top, and I'm sure it will wear out quite quickly. I mean, I could put a mat there, but there is a chance of putting a plate or something underneath there, or if I decide to have some carpet there, it will lift the table up exactly to the height that we want. So we have got a bit of leeway, only a few mil, to try it. So there we are. So I'm very pleased to say, and I'm relieved as well, that I'm going to call that a wrap, and that is finished for now, and I can move on to the next job. I'm very happy with the way it looks. I'm very happy with the way it looks underneath as well. Under there, that looks good. So all in all, apart from the buff that it requires, to see if we can polish out some of these scratches. I doubt it looking at it, but do you know what, considering what I did to the other one, I think we've managed to salvage it quite well. Oh, one final thing. Obviously I'm going to put some lights in, obviously, because it wouldn't be the same without me putting lights in. So what do you think of these? He says as he... Very nice, eh? Very nice. Oh, maybe there should be another one there. Yep. And, just to make life interesting, there's some over there as well, underneath. So all in all, we've got a bit of mood lighting. Warm, but if I fancy a bit of blue, I can go blue. So everybody should be happy. So I think that's looking rather nice there now. I think. Imagine sat there having your tea. Not very much room, but nevertheless, you can have your tea now. It's all underlaid underneath there as well, which is great. So yeah, all in all, I'm extremely happy with what's done. There, it looks good. I'm very pleased with this area, and I think it was Gordon that said, or was it Ian? I can't remember. He said, you know, why don't you use the more of a yellow light and a warm light? And yeah, I do agree with you. It does look rather nice, that. But I am partial to blue as well. But I agree, it actually warms the wood up really nicely. It's got a lovely warm glow to it. So there we are. I think I might shut this episode down because I've completed something, and I will decide what I'm going to do next. So until next time, thank you very much for watching. Please like and please subscribe. I would be grateful, and I'll see you definitely in the next one. Oh, before I go, I forgot to say, I got some clothes, new clothes, and I got these jeans here. I got 2 pairs for £14. Fantastic. Amazon Essentials. So there you go, £14 for 2 pairs of jeans, work jeans. I thought that was marvellous. Anyway, until next time, see you then.